There was a paper recently published that showed that not only new technologies like AI will not create this high unemployment, actually the opposite will happen. Unemployment rate will go down. More jobs will be created than destroyed. Now, this sounds a bit counterintuitive at first. Like, how is it possible that we have AI which automates jobs? How is it going to create more jobs than it destroys? Well, we just need to look at every previous technology in the past. There has never been a case in the history of technology that a new technology came on the scene and it led to this high unemployment. Think about it. During the Industrial Revolution, a lot of people lost their jobs. But did unemployment rate go up? No, the opposite. Unemployment rate went down. The economy boomed. Same thing during the computer revolution. When we had computers, yeah, it's true, a lot of jobs got destroyed, right? Like, if you're old enough to remember, you know that we don't have travel agencies anymore. There used to people when they wanted to buy plane tickets or book a hotel, they used to go to these travel agencies. Now they're basically completely gone. Maybe every major city may have one or two travel agencies connected to some airline, but that's it. But they used to be everywhere. So all those jobs got destroyed because of the computer and the internet. But during the 90s, when computers first really came on the scene and we had the digital revolution, unemployment rate did not go up. It was actually, again, the exact opposite. The economy in the 90s boomed all over the world. People came out of poverty during the 90s, early 2000, when we had computers. The economy boomed so much, and almost half the population of the entire earth came out of absolute poverty during that 20-year period. So, and this happens over and over again. But you know what? If you go back to the 80s, the same conversations that people have right now about AI destroying jobs and we're not going to have jobs and UBI and blah, 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 the same arguments were going on in the 80s. People made the exact same arguments, and they made the exact same arguments during the Industrial Revolution in the early 1900s. The famous Luddites, they made these arguments. They went on and destroyed all the machines because they thought that they're not going to have any jobs. And again, true, a lot of people lost their jobs, but there was no high unemployment. Now, people say this time is different. But remember, they always said that too. With every big technology, people always said this time is different. Now, is AI going to be different? Well, we're going to see. But for now, you should just know that there has never been a case with all the technologies that we've had during human history, especially in the last 200 years, there has never been a case that unemployment went up because of technology. It always the opposite happened. More people found jobs, standard of living went up. You know what? Don't you think your standard of living is higher because you have a computer and you have the internet? And that all that happened at a time when population was growing. So again, the population also during the 80s, 90s was exploding. So more people were being born, and there was so many jobs created that even though so many people entered the labor force because of the baby boom and because of population explosion, still unemployment rate went down, not up. So why would this happen? I guess by now, if you made it until this point of the video, you probably can already guess Why? Why is it that unemployment rate always goes down? Well, let's look at again the computer and the internet. Well, did some people lose their jobs? Sure. Travel agents? I guess, well, you can't think of too many occupations, by the way, that got completely destroyed. But a lot of people lost their jobs. Accountants, for example. I mean, accountants before they had a computer, they used to do their accounting jobs on, paper and pen, basically notebooks. But imagine how much more productive they were with a computer. Well, then you need less accountants. Fine. Accountants didn't go away, but maybe you needed less accountants. Or and the remaining accountants who had a computer, now they were more efficient and they were more useful. But so what happened? So some people lost their jobs, but why unemployment rate went down, not up? Because it's obvious. You need someone to produce computers. You need someone to design computers. You need someone to work in a factory assembling computers. You need someone to ship computers. You need software. But also, when you have a computer, when you have the internet or a cell phone, let's say, just look at how many apps you have in your phone. Like every single app there employs probably on average thousands of people. Like you look at, I don't know, any gaming app that you have on your phone or any booking app that you have on your phone, or there are some of them created hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of jobs, like Uber, like Airbnb. A lot of people work directly for Airbnb, but a lot of people also work indirectly for Airbnb when they list their apartments. And the list goes on and on and on. So even though some occupations perhaps got 100% destroyed, and you can think of many of those, some occupations like accountants, we needed less accountants, maybe, fine. But the amount of jobs that was created, the amount of occupations that got created because of the internet is massive. It far outnumbers the jobs and occupations that it destroyed. Again, you can come up with a million examples of how computers and the internet created jobs. And a lot of those jobs were not foreseen. So if you go back to the 80s and people would say, okay, so there will be no travel agents. So what are these people going to do? No one could have told you that there will be something called Airbnb and maybe they can somehow work for those companies. No one could have imagined that there's going to be something called a search engine and people are going to be working for, I don't know, Google. No one would have guessed that, oh, there's going to be Uber and people are just going to be working for Uber. Or. There are so many examples that you can think of. Or YouTube. I mean, there are people who work for YouTube, the company, Alphabet, directly, but there are also YouTubers. Do you think anyone could have imagined in the 80s that there will be people making millions of dollars a year YouTubing? So no one could have guessed those things. So the same question you may ask now. Okay, what jobs? What jobs are going to be created? I don't know. Nobody knows. If you can figure out, then you're going to become a billionaire. Just like the person who figured out Airbnb became a billionaire. Someone who figured out Microsoft became a billionaire, a multi-billionaire. So with AI, what kind of jobs can it create? Well, the direct jobs are obvious. People that are now AI designers and AI skilled people that get paid literally millions of dollars working in Silicon Valley and other places. So those are direct jobs. So those are easy. We can already see it. But what about Other jobs that will be created indirectly because of AI, well, those are very difficult to guess right now, but you can be sure that there will be jobs. Again, no one could have guessed in the 80s that the jobs that will be created will be a YouTuber or an influencer or whatever. No one could have came up with those examples. But people who did, people who had those ideas, people who thought about YouTube, well, you know, they became Alphabet. It's $1 trillion company. So yeah, it's very difficult. That's why the people who can figure out what jobs will be created because of AI, my guess is that they will be very, very rich, or they will become very, very rich at some point. But that's the optimistic view. We can only guess what's going to happen in the future based on what happened in the past. Is this guaranteed? Of course not. But probably this time will not be that different than every other time that we've had a new technology for the past centuries.